As Bitcoin hits $50,000 per coin, this is a stark reminder that price is the least important part about Bitcoin. The trustless, permissionless, uncensorable, decentralized nature of Bitcoin is the most important thing. It is the asset, the only asset that can give wealth, prosperity, property rights, liberty to 8 billion people. It's the only one that I know of in 15 years, leaving professional sports, leaving college, leaving Michigan State University, playing hockey, then going into professional sports, seeing the great financial crisis collapse in my own eyes as I was leaving school, trying to find a job. Fortunately, not in debt. I had a scholarship for playing hockey. So I wasn't one of the people that was in massive debt trying to figure out how I was going to get ahead in that sense, although I didn't really have any cash getting into they didn't have the NIL, they didn't have all these crazy things back when I was playing. So you're trying to figure out what's going on. You're trying to find out your path. And I was one of those people, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up. It's still going through high school and college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. What do you want to do, Brandon? We're going to teach you when you get to school or when you get to your job, we're going to teach you what you need to do. Then why am I here? Why am I at college then? What am I doing? It was a good thing I was playing hockey at the time. And I started searching. I found Robert Kiyosaki's book with Donald Trump at that time, Why We Want You to Be Rich. And it blew my mind open. Your assets pay for your liabilities, the quadrants, the ESBI quadrant, the BI triangle, your money working for you. Realizing we didn't have money. That led me to The Creature from Jekyll Island, the book about the Federal Reserve and the history of the Federal Reserve and central banking. It led me to reading, I had already read the Communist Manifesto and seeing, but it clicked those things together and understanding that Marxism was an extension of this. It was one of the political processes that the central banking had created. And so all these things start coming together and you start understanding why we weren't taught these things in school. There's a reason that government-run schools don't teach you these things. And this is why when people look at the price of Bitcoin, they get very confused. They just think like, oh, I have so many people now even, I'm going to sell out. Oh, I sold at 45 when it dipped back down to 40. I bought a bunch and then I sold it at 45 and now it's at 50. It's in my opinion, it's not financial advice. These are freedom advice videos. In all my studying 15 years, studying gold and silver, realizing that our paper currency was just debt, it was just an IOU, and that it was backed by actual things of value, and that's it. That's all money is. It has to be a store of value, which government currencies are not. I've realized that these fiat currencies are going to zero. Mike Maloney, The Guide to Investing in Gold and Silver, one of the best books on metals of all time. And his new one, which I have over here, I should have grabbed it, but I forget the name of it. I have not been able to read it yet, but I got it a year or so ago, right when it came out. And some of my biggest mentors, my best teachers on this subject, realizing though, these problems we found ourselves, because I was very political before, the reason that we have these problems of division and polarization and hate, yes, we're humans. These things are going to exist to a degree, but they are amplified and they are increased exponentially because of legacy media, because of the politicians, because of the ruling class using government currencies, using a broken monetary system that undergirds capitalism. When you have capitalism and then you break the monetary system, the foundation of it, then you get crony capitalism. You get this state, public-private partnership they're building, this state-run government in private sector, in essence, that is enabling this process where we're dislocated from reality. We have no idea what's happening. We have no idea what's going on. And this is where I saw this 15 years ago, making a transition from politics to, wow, these things are not going to get solved by politics alone. It will never get solved by politics. Actually, not only will they not get solved, but they will just manifest into more and more problems as time goes on. Government always and everywhere is there to create problems and then to try to fix its own problems by sucking the wealth, the time and energy away from its citizens. Period. End of story. That is it. That is all throughout human history they have shown us. That's why the founding fathers here in America made the country the way they did. 3 branches of government, checks and balances, the Constitution, Bill of Rights, as Barack Obama said, the Charter of Negative Liberties. Yes, it's a Charter of Negative Liberties to you, Barack. The negative liberties are towards the government. The positive liberties, the people who get to benefit from that, are the people. So all these things came together for me. and realizing that you need to create a new system. And it's not capitalism that needs to be recreated, but it's the financial underpinning of the system that needed to be recreated. That's where we get into these fights, again, of politics and thinking it's capitalism or Marxism or things like that. And we're just fighting like socialism. People think socialism is the answer. That's not the answer. Socialism exists, and people thinking communal living and being communist by nature or Marx, that's an answer because the monetary foundation has been destroyed, and it keeps getting destroyed. So people turn to, well, if this doesn't work or this free market thing doesn't work, then I guess we're just going to have the government take care of all of us. The heart is in the right place of 99% of people. The heart is in the right place, and it's a natural thing to wonder. When you fix the money, though, you start fixing everything. And the problem was, I realized 15 years ago, wow, gold and silver are true money, and this is what we've been backed by for thousands of years. This is the answer. We need to get back to this. The problem, though, and what Bitcoin helps you realize, and this is the important part, what Bitcoin helps you realize is that gold and silver will never work because they have never worked. I love gold and silver, but they don't work because they get centralized. They get honeypotted, meaning they go to one central location, a bank or a central bank, and you can't move it over space easily. If I'm buying something in Hong Kong from here in America, I can't have final settlement. I can't buy it instantaneously. There's always some form of credit involved. And that gold or silver has to get moved across the ocean or flown over there somehow for final settlement. That takes days and weeks, and it takes a lot of time and energy and capital. Well, how do we solve that problem? We need digital scarcity. We need digital finite scarcity. We found that, we discovered that with Bitcoin. Satoshi Nakamoto 15 years ago found that and discovered that finally through cryptography. Not to get into all the weeds of what's happening. That's for people to go find out on their own. But coming across that 5-6 years ago and really starting to actually understand that with my knowledge of politics, with my knowledge then of central banking and money, and with my knowledge of gold and silver, and understanding the pros and cons of all this, Bitcoin became the very obvious answer to many of society's problems. Not all of them, never all going to go away, but the best chance we've ever had to move to a type 1 civilization, to move to a civilization that can be a planet jumping species, where we can go from planet to planet, where we can do things that were just completely unthinkable in human nature, and we can have an abundance and peace about us that is unthinkable. We're never going to be the Garden of Eden, we're never going to be heaven, we're never going to be some utopia, but to have the amount of division and hatred and polarization we have now is ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous, and it's only festered and it's only incentivized by a broken monetary system, by people that can print it, make us pay taxes on it, a counterfeit currency that they just counterfeit into existence in their apartment, in their high rise, in the bowels of the Federal Reserve and central banks and their banking system. They get to print it out, and we have to pay taxes and interest on it. And they get to use that endlessly, stealing our time and energy. They get to sprinkle that around to any initiative, any government initiative, any NGO, any ad campaign, any Taylor Swift or Travis Kelce campaign they want to do to beat you over the head with propaganda, sprinkle it to government-run schools, brainwashing people, indoctrinating people on what they want to have people think, and or distract people, divide people, while they get to do whatever they want. Distraction is wonderful for the ruling class. It helps people not galvanize together and see the truth. So price getting to 50,000 is meaningless, because at the end of the day, the dollar price, the fiat trash token price of Bitcoin could be infinity. It could be 100 million per Bitcoin. It can be 500 billion per Bitcoin, because the dollar can go to zero and will go to zero. The fiat price will go to zero in all currencies. All fiat currencies throughout human history have gone to zero. So they will go to zero, and Bitcoin will go to who knows what number. We are playing a different game. If we are in it for fiat gains, this is the beauty of Bitcoin. If you're in it for fiat gains and thinking you're gonna take the most pristine money ever and trade it out for more fiat trash tokens, and you're gonna, run away from the speeding train, I guess, good luck timing that. Me, I'm not smart enough. I've realized that over 15 years of investing and raising money and building businesses, I'm not smart enough to be able to time the market, even though I'm in this for 15 years. I ain't smart enough. I'm never going to beat this thing long term. So I'm going to play the game, not play the political game. I'm going to change the monetary base. I'm going to create an immutable layer that rulers can't affect. It's based on rules, not rulers, not people that are fallible. And I'm going to make them play on that battlefield, and we're going to change the monetary system. Because at the end of the day, people think that's so ludicrous thing. The governments don't create money. Money comes between people. Value is created between people. We have given government the ability to issue currency And we can take it back that fast. But most people don't understand that. Most people, that is a foreign concept. That we've all grown up. Government just issues currency. It just grows on trees at the Fed, at the government. They can just give it to us, the Treasury. No, the people are the ones that issue money. Our founding fathers knew that. Our founding fathers talked about that constantly. That's the difference. That's the difference. And if we don't think we can change that system, and we don't think we can elect leaders who will accept Bitcoin as the true money of freedom-loving people, then I think we have bigger problems on our hands, because that means that our votes don't count. Our votes don't matter. If we're that defeated and we think, well, it's not going to matter, government's going to take it away anyway. If you're telling me that you believe Bitcoin is the greatest money to ever exist and going to keep your purchasing power and grow your purchasing power over time, and people can't confiscate it, people can't take it, it can't be decentralized, and on and on and on and on. But yet at the same time, government's going to confiscate it and we're just going to let that happen, then we got bigger problems on our hands. Those are the problems we need to talk about. So $50,000 Bitcoin is nothing. Nothing. This is the start of the race right now. This is the start. The game theory is just about to start playing out. In the coming years, we are going to see things that will blow people's minds. That's in all my research and all my study. That's where my chips are. My time, my wealth, my energy, all of it's there. The things we're doing with Bitcoin trading cards, educating the masses, trying to incept the Trojan horse, incepting people with truth, with reality, with education, things we don't learn in government-run schools. Ask yourself why we don't learn these. This thing we just talked about for 10 minutes, why don't we learn this in schools? That answer right there, the answer, whatever you come up with, of why we're not taught this in public schools and government-run schools, might just be the reason we aren't taught these things. And that's the answer in and of itself. We need to start going in a different direction. That's what I work on every single day. That's why I do my podcast. That's why we're going on other podcasts, to get this message out, to incept truth, make things fun and easy that normally make you want to cry. Make things fun and easy to learn about that normally make you want to cry. Appreciate you. $50,000 is nothing. It means nothing. So don't get distracted by the bells and whistles. Study Bitcoin. Someone just the other day said, I voted for Barack, I voted for Hillary, I voted for Biden. Now I just became a libertarian in the last couple of years, had a spiritual awakening. Now what do I do? And I tweeted back to him, I was like, study Bitcoin. You want a real mind F. You want to go down the rabbit holes that you never thought were humanly possible to exist and go down and to completely blow your mind. I'm kind of paraphrasing. Then study Bitcoin. Study Bitcoin if you want truth. If you want the red pill. If you want the blue pill and you just want what the world's going to give you or what some other person has in mind for you in your life, hey, take the blue pill, put your head in the sand. Don't study Bitcoin. Don't study truth. Whatever. Those people will live in a society run by the red pill people. That's how history's always shown us. The red pill people find truth, seek truth, battle for truth, and then they create the world for the rest of the people that have their head in the sands, sucking down blue pills. I appreciate you. Please share this video out. The algorithm hates truth. Question everything with boldness, even the existence of God himself. Trust but verify what I'm saying. This is not financial advice. It's freedom advice. We'll see you in the next one.